So what's going on, guys? My name's Chopper. Now, I'm going to ask you guys a few questions, and I want you to think about these and answer honestly. Have you ever wondered what it's like to ride a horse in PUBG? Have you ever wondered what Sanhok would look like if it had snowed? Have you ever thought to yourself, what would a drivable tractor look like in PUBG? Now, today, guys, what we're going to be looking at is an absolutely mind-blowing mod concept showcase made by All the News is Good News. Now, I want to give a massive shout out to him for him being so kind as to let me share this with you guys. I'm going to leave his link to his channel down below in the description. He was able to put together some unbelievably well done mods for PUBG, showing off new maps, different like assets that can be drivable, and just some crazy animations that you guys are going to see. Now, if you end up enjoying the video, as this was an absolutely special one, figure we're going to go for a big goal of 3,000 likes. Drop a thumbs up if you'd ever like to see some of this stuff actually come to the full game of PUBG. And if you guys are brand new to the channel, of course, make sure to go ahead and subscribe if you're not already. And also, I'm streaming right now over on Twitch. The link to my channel is down below in the description. Go over there, drop it a follow, and I'll see you there for the stream. But without further ado, guys, let's check this out. One of the first concepts I want to show off to you guys is this little animation here where you kick down the door in order to open it. Now, what you just saw there was basically an alternative way to get through different buildings. As we know, in PUBG currently, there's only one way to open doors. You do it with your hands. You know, kind of take one hand off the weapon you're using and then push the door open. And there's no amount of force that you can manually apply to that door. It just opens automatically or shuts depending on which way you're going. And to be quite honest, kicking down the door not only looks way cooler than simply opening it, but it got me thinking about the real build of PUBG and how I think there could be room for both. I think an animation where you kick down the door and the door, you know, flies open full force, or you could manually open it with your hands and kind of do like a thing with the new Call of Duty where you have the option to open the door very slightly if needed, or you can full force it by kicking down the door. Either one of those would be great, but this was an absolutely insane animation to see, and I would love to see this be invested into the full game at some point. Now, the next thing I want to show you guys is, yes, riding a horse in PUBG. Honestly, I don't even know where to start with this one. Now, people have brought up in the past the crazy idea of having live animals in the battlegrounds, whether they're just kind of roaming around or they're rideable in any way. And I think I speak for most people when I say we've heard these ideas before, but we never really took them seriously or like requested this be a feature in the game. Having a kind of transportation that's an alternative to a traditional vehicle and is also a living being entity in the game is a very strange idea. And I'm far from making the argument that we should have animals in PUBG, but just for your, you know, your imagination and your satisfaction, if you've ever sat back and wondered what riding a horse or what other players would look like riding a horse inside of Battlegrounds, this is what it would be like. Now, this next thing I'm going to show you is incredibly interesting for me, and if some of you who have been paying attention to the videos or have been a longtime viewer on the channel, you might recognize this thing immediately. Now, this might just look like a regular old truck to you, and kind of it is, but it's also the ZIL313 cut concept. This was a vehicle in PUBG that was supposed to be drivable when it came out, but this was scrapped for whatever reason, maybe in favor of having other vehicles in the game, or this just ended up being an unused feature for some unknown reason. What's interesting though is that regardless of the reason it was cut for, you can see by this gameplay, it's still fully texturized. You can see that all of the art and the textures around the model are basically fully done, and even the interior is oddly well designed. The original ZIL is supposed to have a canopy over the bed of the truck, which is missing in this gameplay model. The tires on this are like monster truck tires. They're absolutely massive, and then also the window point where the driver is sitting would be a little bit awkward to hit if you were shooting at that in-game. It's pretty well covered up. When you think about basically all vehicles in PUBG, they all have like a fairly easy to hit weak point, like the windows for most of them minus the BRDM, but this one, the window seems to be kind of hard to hit. Whatever the reason this got cut from the full game, we can actually see what it would be like in this mod, which I find is absolutely incredible. Now, on to one of the strangest things, even crazier than that truck, is a tractor. It should go without saying that the tractor vehicle was never supposed to be drivable in this game. However, this model does appear on Miramar and also Sanhok, I believe, and maybe every single map to some degree. But one of the things that you're going to immediately notice about the tractor is that the model texture is really not that high resolution, meaning this was probably never an intended feature for us to drive. It was just simply for for the environment. But I'm not gonna lie to you and say that it wouldn't be the coolest thing in the entire world if we could sit here and drive the tractors that are featured within the maps. And this is exactly what it would look like if that were possible. Now, another really cool thing I want to show off to you guys is a zombie mode concept. Now, zombie mode has already been a part of PUBG for a long time now. With different iterations and modes across different platforms, there's not really one standardized zombie mode when it comes to PUBG. However, this could be a concept for one of them, and as you can see, this will take place in Camp Jackal, or otherwise known as the training grounds. This concept would take the layout of Camp Jackal and then turn it into a fully fledged, fully playable zombies map. Now, upon watching the gameplay and seeing how this works, what you're going to notice instantly is that the animations of the zombies are somewhat lacking, right? They don't really have very zombie-looking movement mechanics, and they sort of just look like slightly dirtier regular character models. But this is just a concept of what it could potentially be like, and as you guys could imagine, this would be unbelievable if it was fully developed into its own mode, complete with animations, and basically just becomes a full game that you could play either with yourself or with friends. You could maybe turn on a mode inside of Camp Jackal, turn it into zombies mode if you want to shoot around in here. It could end up being quite fun. Now, this next thing, take a look at this. This is a sliding animation in PUBG, something that people have mentioned in the past that they could potentially like to see. Sliding is an interesting concept that I feel like is pretty divisive among the player base. There would be a certain section that's like, yeah, this is an awesome thing that we should have in the game. Similar to the ledge grab, which is like a movement feature, or, you know, when we kind of got out of the crouch jump and got vaulting, something that we didn't know we needed. Sliding could be that next step for us. There's also another way to look at it and say that, nah, maybe sliding might be a little bit too silly for this game. My opinion is I feel like the slide could work when done contextually right, similar to the vaulting and ledge grabbing, which we kind of thought were going to be awkward mechanics that were going to be mishandled and misused. The slide could be something that, if implemented right, would be a very beneficial thing for the game. Whatever your opinion is on sliding, I'd love to know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. And also, side note, what you're watching is Yasnaya fully covered in snow on Erangel, by the way. Now, this next concept is really fascinating. This takes the riot shield, which, again, we still don't have after well over a year at this point, fully implemented into this mod. And not only that, but it's also the shield of Chris Evans himself. Now, you guys know how I feel about the riot shield in PUBG. I'm kind of sick and tired of bringing it up just because we've been baited for so long. It's been over a year, and it's not in the game. I don't know if it's ever coming to the game, but what you'll notice in this mod is that it's fully functional here, complete with animations and everything, even with a nice Captain America shield skin. Despite PUBG saying that they're still working on the riot shield and bringing it to the game, I'm kind of over it at this point, and if we just ever wanted to see what it would physically look like in game and how it would play out, this is probably the closest we're going to get for a very long time. This riot shield allows you to hold it up in front of your face, and while ADS, you kind of use it as a body shield while still giving you a headshot to peek, but also leaving that vulnerable as well. And also, strangely enough, it has an animation where you can melee with it, but you don't melee with the shield as you would probably expect to do. You melee with your other hand, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but I don't know. This was cool, at least for me, to see what it would look like in theory, and hopefully that satisfies a lot of you guys as well. Up next, we get a small glimpse of a new map concept, and you can just tell by the amount of sheer detail how incredible this is going to look, and this will look oddly familiar to you as the Venezia map. This was an old map concept we talked about a while ago, but this is what the closest look at is we're going to get to it in person and actually playing on it. A lot of the features that could be done in this map are just mind-blowing. The amount of detail is stunning as well. I don't know about you guys, but recently I have been fiending for a new map. You know, Erangel Remastered was great, and it definitely hit the spot, at least for a while, but we haven't had anything new to chew on since Vikendi, and I think something like this could really solve our problem. Now, next up, I'd like to show you a variation of one of our beloved maps, Sanhok. Now, Sanhok is set in the jungle, and it's obviously very green. It's pretty much always sunny, and the environment always looks to be quite warm. But in this mod concept, however, it is completely covered in snow. The trees have been reworked to where they're now like evergreen trees. There are these snow banks and caps on all of the roofs and walls and stuff, and it looks absolutely phenomenal. And then also into this mod, what was done is the free cam look has been slightly altered, where in PUBG third person perspective, free cam view gives you mostly an entire view around your character, but there is a little bit of restriction that's involved in it. However, in this mod, it is a quite truly full free cam cam mode. It appears as if this version of free cam is a little bit more fluid than the real one we have currently in the game. Now, you might be asking yourself, why aren't mods and concepts like this more common? Why aren't these things readily available for everybody to try out, maybe make their own and stuff like that? Well, in my opinion, mods and a basically community setting where anybody could upload any sort of content they want, being as creative as possible, letting the community try out all their creations for free, would be a great way to extend the life of PUBG and would end up bringing a lot of replayability to the table. It would be something sort of like GTA mods, which just expand the life of a game significantly. But right now, I think the core problem is that PUBG doesn't want people modding their game or really going outside and getting these assets like this because they already have a security problem with hackers, and until that can be fully addressed, mods are going to be difficult to implement and even harder to keep a regulated use on most players without causing a hacking problem within the official version of the game. But if this could be sorted out, there is an unbelievable amount of possibility that mods could have in PUBG, and this is just some of the things that could be done. But again, it comes to the core problem where if they gave us access to all of these tools, then this would significantly increase hackers in the game, which I think, at least I'm speaking from my perspective, I haven't dealt with any hackers in a very long time, and I think the majority of the community hasn't dealt with them either, but there is a very small minority where hacking is prevalent, and they are very vocal about it too. That's why you hear about it all the time. While it's obviously not perfect, they've taken tons of steps in the right direction in order to build security in their game, and it's gotten a lot better in recent months, but I guess this is the only way that we're going to get closer to be having something like this be mainstream in PUBG and have access for the average player. I don't know what PUBG's master plan is when it comes to like out-of-game matchmaking and being able to sort of go outside the reins this way. I know they're doing a lot of stuff with custom games, and that's what they want people to use to do like stuff that's outside the original Battle Royale experience, but I think the only way to do it right is to have mod tools at some point, and that's the best way to do it. But again, until these security issues can be addressed with mods living with them, if they can mutually exist, then we could probably see a future where these things would be possible. But I want you guys to let me know down below in the comments which of these mod concepts was your favorite. Did you like the snowy Erangel, the Sanhok? Did you like the horses? What have you? And also, if you would like to see another video like this showing off some more concepts and stuff later in the future, please make sure to drop this video a thumbs up and I will definitely get the message. Make sure to subscribe if you are brand new to the channel as well, of course, and also make sure to go follow me on Twitch. Link will be down below in the description. I'm streaming right now, so come hang out and say hello, whatever you want to do. And once again, I want to give a really big thank you to All the News is Good News for letting me show this off to you guys. He's an absolute legend, and I'm gonna have all of his stuff linked down below. But anyways, guys, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all on the next stream or the next video. Have a good one, and peace out.